I really never thought this was going to happen, but we're entering a new era of potentially access journalism. This is always a bad thing, by the way, but we're starting to see it happen again. So we're going to don't even know if it's good or bad. Let's be skeptical on both sides. We don't need to be skeptical. All I need to do, gentlemen, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to play Dragon Age myself. When it comes out, the day it comes out, I'm going to play it. Day one. Hashtag sponsor? Nope. Maybe, hey, you know what? Maybe Twitch will ban me then. For self-harm. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the video. The truth about Dragon Age Veilguard reviews.
In this Dragon Age The Veilguard review, we're going to be talking about why we're actually not doing a review for The Veilguard today, why this should matter to you, and why it's important. We don't normally make videos like this on the Fex for Life YouTube channel. We typically stay out of drama. You'd be hard-pressed to find more than a handful of these across the entire 3,000 some odd videos we've ever made. But what I want to talk about today is going to impact the way that you watch reviews today, the ones that are coming out today, and this information should not be kept from you. Before I get into that, though, just a little bit of background about Fex for Life's history with Dragon Age. Dragon Age Origins is one of my all-time favorite games. I get asked all the time, what are my top 5 games? And Dragon Age Origins is consistently in that list. That has never changed in the entire time since I've played that game. We also made a Dragon Age Inquisition wiki in 2014 when that game launched. So we've been covering Dragon Age.
You fuckers have a wiki of every game that's ever been made. But yes.
For at least 10 years, maybe longer. And Fex also managed to rescue the Dragon Age forums when BioWare was bought by EA because they were shutting down those forums. We got permission from BioWare to rescue those forums, export them, and import them onto the Fex for Life forums. So you can still find those Dragon Age forums today on our site. We've been in constant communication with EA and BioWare for years about this title. We've been assured we're getting a code multiple times over the years. We've been in constant communication with them. They keep sending us stuff about the game. We've also been covering the game during that time with constant news articles. We've done several videos about the game. But most importantly, I think that our audience is the audience for this title. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find another channel out there that's our size that is so specifically targeted to RPGs that fits the profile for this game. So following all this, we were invited by EA to attend a preview event for Dragon Age The Veilguard in September with a lot of other press and content creators. We were by no means the only ones doing this. And after attending that event, we made our impressions video from playing the game, which has close to 300,000 views on our YouTube channel right now, which I think is one of the most viewed impressions videos for that game at this time.
That's a lot.
If you watch that video, the general sentiment is that we were cautiously optimistic about the game. We praised its gameplay, character depth, but we weren't completely sold about the storytelling in the long run, although we only got to play a very little bit of time, so we weren't entirely sure. And
guys, I don't know how the fuck you see that gameplay and you think it's not dog yet. How? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
In general, we didn't really like the character models, the design style of them, which I think a lot of people don't. In general, it was a pretty positive impression of the video, and I want to play for you the closing audio from that video right now so you can see what we told our audience at the end of that video. I still have issues with the game, mainly that I don't like the UI and that the dialogues didn't seem to be on par with what you could get in other story-focused games that have come out in the last decade, and that I didn't yet get a point where I felt a bond or much interest with my companions who were integral to the story. It's funny that I have pretty much been playing these games for the story and getting through the combat, but I may actually be playing the Veilguard to enjoy the combat and get through the story to see the end. How everything...
That's like watching porn for the plot. You gonna play this for the combat? What the hell?
Everything works together and progresses into a full game remains to be seen, and there were several big and impactful events that I cannot discuss, but so far my opinion on this has become more positive, and I would like to urge anyone who loves CRPGs to hang in there and wait for reviews and not write the game off just yet. And just to illustrate how mild that our criticisms were of the Veilguard, after publishing our impressions video, we got called shills. Some people accused us of being paid by BioWare and EA to promote the game, which of course we're obviously not. I was even contacted by another content creator who had attended the event that asked me why my criticisms were worded more cautiously and asked me if I was concerned when I made my video.
Well, here's the reason why it fucking happened. I'm gonna just say it because nobody remembers anything except for apparently me, because I'm terminally fucking online. So the reason why the Dragon Age Veilguard thing was problematic is because they flew a bunch of people out there and they took these fuckers to Disneyland. And I'm sorry, but if somebody takes me to Disneyland, I'm gonna think to myself, well, actually, I fucking hate Disneyland. I never want to go there. However, let's say I like Disneyland. Let's say they take me to Chuck E. Cheese. I like Chuck E. Cheese, okay? And so they take me to Chuck E. Cheese. You know what I'm gonna think? I'm gonna think they're a nice guy. I'm gonna think, you know what? Maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're not so bad. And that kind of stuff is how you change perspectives. And so I think it is absolutely fair to take a person who has enjoyed privileges that are given to the company that function as consideration and to hold those reviews in contempt. Oh, Star Wars? Oh, was it... Fuck! Was it Star Wars? Shit, no, you're absolutely right. I'm totally wrong. You are completely right. That was Star Wars and not Veilguard. You're right. No, you're totally fucking right. That was Star Wars Outlaws. Yep. To be fair, it was still a big event though, right? Yes, but no, I was wrong. I was wrong. Again, we are into the new age of accountability. If I say something that's wrong, immediately I want to be called out for it. My bad. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for keeping me accurate. That was with a different game. Still the same problem though. Still the same problem. You get flown out to an event. They obviously do different types of accommodations. Oftentimes they're paying for it, not you. You're getting effectively a free vacation. Maybe you don't go to Disney World, but they're still giving you something. And guess what? People are going to give better reviews. I think it's very important to look into that. It's an industry problem. Yes, it's an industry problem. That's right. Veilguard was flying people out too. Yes, of course. Free room service, you got my vote? Yeah, if I can order chicken wings at 3 in the morning, then I'm going to say your video game is a 9 out of 10.
Be denied access to a review code. To which, of course, I replied, no, I'm not worried about...
sorry, bro. Like, this don't look like a griffin. This looks like some fucking... I swear to God, I've seen things like out of Teletubbies that are more fucking dangerous than that. What the hell is this? This is for kids. You want to see a real griffin? This is a real one. These look like the real ones. See this? That's a dangerous fucking animal. You see him? Look at him. Oh, wow. Then you got this... What the hell was this? Nickelodeon. It's supposed to be a baby griffin? No. Because babies don't have the feathers. That's not how birds work. I've seen how I've like no, because like then they don't have the feathers on them. You tried that, didn't you?
I replied, no, I'm not worried about getting denied access to review code. That simply doesn't happen in the gaming industry. But I was not concerned about this at all. I reassured him that he shouldn't be concerned about this because it's just not really a thing in the gaming industry. It's so rare that it shouldn't scare someone into not saying what they think about a game. So after publishing our video, nearly immediately, our contacts at EA and Bioware stopped replying and communication went to zero.
Jesus.
So we started inquiring as to what was happening and reaching out to other contacts in the industry in a bit wider of a circle to try and figure out what's happening. As a result, we discovered that we were essentially getting fake reassurances that we were getting a code to keep us happy while denying us access to the Veilguard. It wasn't too long after this that I began to be contacted by other press and content creators about whether or not we had a code. And generally speaking, I get this a lot. People tend to ask me whether I have a code or not, because we generally get codes for all the big games. I'm not trying to brag. It's just simply reality. We have a large channel. We almost always get a code, and another creator or press can figure out if they should have a code right now, if they're going to get one or not, by asking us this question, which is what happened here. And we started piecing together between us that some people had codes and others didn't, including ourselves. And you might have also seen Wolfheart's tweets about this topic on Twitter or X, and Luke Stevens' video about this topic as well. Both of those individuals were with us in California for the preview event, and both of them put out preview videos as well as ours. And I think between the three of us, we probably have some of the 3 most viewed videos on this topic, or at least most commented on, I would say. And if you read those tweets and you watch that video, you can tell clearly that they also feel some way that they were intentionally excluded by EA from review access for some unknown reason, likely because of critical comments they made in their preview video, even though most...
It is very hard to say whether they were excluded because of critical reviews or not. However, when 3 people that go to the preview event give unfavorable or questionable criticism, and one of the common variables is that they were giving questionable criticism, bro, Asmongold probably bury the game the moment he gets on. That's crazy, huh? Wow. Wow. What about that? How about that? That's nuts. So anyway, I'll go back to what I was saying. So pretty much, you look at something like this. Is it a guarantee that they were excluded from review copies because of the way that they covered the game? Is it a guarantee? No, it is not a guarantee. However, I think that all things like this is my perspective. I put a tweet out. I've been tweeting more often because I've been fucking banned. I didn't have anything else to do. So I'll show you guys what I typed out and what I said. That way you can get an idea. Let me see where the fuck is it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I replied to this, and this is Wolfheart's post about it, and I said this, as someone who's been extremely critical of F Extra Life in the past, I completely support them in this circumstance. Celebrating and pushing for certain people to not get review copies is the first step towards access journalism and the chilling effect it has on genuine reviews. And I want to elaborate a little bit on that. If people are not being given reviews based off of criteria that is not related to their ability to provide a review to an audience of people that's seeking a review, then you are looking at a very, very unfair situation. And access journalism, this is a term, a lot of people might not really be familiar with this term. Access journalism is when it's referring to when people are given privileges or people are given opportunities that exist as an outcome of them providing favorable or agreeable coverage of things in a way that the company could predict. So, like, we're going to only invite the people that are going to give positive feedback. So what does that do? What that does is it creates a chilling effect, and that's the second part of what I was saying, to where people are less likely to provide negative criticism and negative reviews of games because now they don't want to be excluded from exclusive content that could benefit them financially. And so what the company has just done is they have created a reward structure and a reward loop that is built around deceiving the customer. And this is something that is incredibly toxic. And it doesn't matter whether it's happening to F Extra Life, Kotaku, Luke Stevens, or SkillUp. It is incredibly toxic. And I think that if you have a channel that meets a certain size requirement and you request a review and you don't have a history of breaking embargo and breaking NDA, I think that you should be given a review, period. Because anything other than that is too much of a subject to abuse and it's harmful for the base customer. I think F Extra Life should get a review. I think every, quote, grifter should get a review. Everybody should get a review. I think that companies should pay me not to play their games. I think, like, if you know you're coming out with a dud, you know it's a turd. Just send me like 10 grand, and I won't play it. I won't play it. Like, I'm thinking like we're like a reverse sponsorship. I think it's a good idea. It's not extortion, guys. It's not extortion. 10 grand. No, you cheap? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm a reasonable guy. very reasonable guy. And Tush Money, Well, I would tell people, be like, yeah, listen, this is like, they paid me not to play this one because they know it's going to suck. And so, yeah, it's really smart. Yeah, it is. And so anyway, I think everybody should get a review code. Everybody should get one. It doesn't matter whether you're an idiot. It doesn't matter. Like the most woke, biggest social justice warrior on Kotaku, I want to fight for their right to get a review code. I want to make sure that they get a review code because that is what's fair. And it's what's best for every consumer and every customer. When you have an unfair system, the only thing that you have to do in order for that unfair system to be used against you is to wait.
So the things they said were positive about the game, just like us. And these are just two individuals that are speaking out about this, but we do know that there are at least a handful of other content creators and press that were left out, maybe more, that share a similar sentiment, that feel like they were deliberately prevented from giving their own opinions to their own audience about this game. It is feeling like EA is deliberately trying to prevent us from telling you what we think about the game, and they want you to hear it from someone else. So you then have to ask yourself, why would EA do this? What is their angle?
This is always my favorite part of videos like this. Why would they do this? Everybody knows why they would do this. Everybody knows. Either no one or everyone? Yeah, I think so.
What are they trying to accomplish by doing this? After the previews came out, I think it became very apparent that most of the people who were still interested in Veilguard after watching the previews...
And I also so there's an element of nuance of this that's getting a little bit of people confused. People are using the example, because SkillUp posted a review of this game, and the review was critical. The difference is that SkillUp's initial reception of the preview event was positive. So he was given the review copy on the pretense that he was positive about the game. That's like there's like that complexity and that nuance, because it's not that nobody that gave it a bad review, but that's the complexity there. He did a bait and switch? No, he didn't do a bait and switch at all. He just simply got a larger perspective of the game. I think that's reasonable, right?
Waiting for reviews to make their final decision about whether or not to purchase the game. If you just read comments in any YouTube video about the Veilguard or look at the poll on our community page, you can see that the vast majority of people that are still interested are waiting for reviews. Yeah. Looking at this, EA's marketing team...
Well, reviews serve as a tool for people to inform themselves about the quality of a game. Reviews exist for the sole purpose of serving the customer as a tool for making an informed purchase. That is the reason why reviews exist.
Probably saw this and decided that they needed to make the reviews as positive as possible, trying to exclude those that might, give the game a 7 or an 8, while also reaching out and finding press and content creators that would maybe give the game a 9 or above. Just think about this for a second. If you're on the EA end and you're trying to manipulate review scores because you want high review scores, what are you going to do? You're going to research press and content creators and what they usually give to games score-wise to give you a general idea of how they're going to review your game.
If I was trying to scam people, I would do this. These are reviews for Diablo 4. We all know how that turned out.
For us, we never give games 10s. 9s are extremely rare. Most games we give reviews to fall somewhere in the 7 or 8 range, while other places, you know who they are, always give 9s and 10s, and frankly, it's hard to take them seriously. And this is why I made this video.
When it comes to central storylines, this is easily the best Bethesda quest yet. This is about Starfield. Starfield, in a nutshell, is everything it needed to be, much more. The bar's in hell. Bro, the bar's on the floor, and these people picked up a shovel.
Is why I made this video. Because you guys told us in no uncertain terms that you're waiting for reviews. And you're about to get a bunch of reviews that have been curated by the publisher for their likelihood of being extremely positive in an attempt to manipulate your view of Dragon Age: The Veilguard. They want you to think there is a universal consensus that
you know what's really funny about this is happening. Did you guys see like the news about how the FTC has created new regulations for fake reviews? It's really fucking funny that this happened at the same time.
the game is amazing, thereby convincing you that you should try it, but also influencing future review scores, as it's difficult to be the outlier. If you've ever done a review for a game or for something, you'll realize that if you're the only one giving a high review score when everyone else is giving it a low review score, it's difficult. Or if you're the only one giving it a low review score and everyone else is giving it a high review score, it's a very difficult position to be in. So if you see a bunch of positive review scores come out today, think about all the people that are going to be playing afterward and how much pressure they're going to feel to give the game slightly better score than they would have given it, just to avoid maybe some undue pressure. And sometimes that doesn't even happen consciously, it's just done subconsciously. And
yeah, I mean, it's just like normalcy bias. I mean, there's a bunch of like, I mean, this is like a study. I mean, this happens all the time. Absolutely. Yeah. I've never seen such dishonesty when it comes to game reviews, honestly. I mean, Cyberpunk was bad, but nowhere near this because the game was actually good and it wasn't buggy on PC. So with Cyberpunk, correct me if I'm wrong, because I was wrong about the Star Wars thing, but wasn't the review copy of Cyberpunk actually different than the copy that was actually released? So the reviewers were in fact not lying. It's just that they had received a separate copy. So Cyberpunk actually is not a good example of that. Very, very weird thing that happened there because of like a third party that did their QA and it was a bunch of shit, right? This, I think, is very much, do I think that it's intentional or not? I think that it's such a big accusation. I really want to step away from making accusations on things without full information. I think that, again, it's a bad idea to do that. And I'm going to try and stop doing that as much. However, it's very suspicious and it's worrisome. I hope it's not happening.
I want to be very clear here that I don't think that the press and creators publishing their videos early are going to be lying. However, these reviewers have been screened to maximize the chances that you're...
That's true. And this component is really important, and I want to elaborate on that. There are people that just like these kinds of games. Like just with any game, right? But like, if you're only taking the people that like the games that you're giving review scores to, you are creating a confirmation bias. It's basically, it's a selection bias, survivorship bias. Like, I mean, all of these are accurate in different ways.
Seeing positive reviews. There will probably be some exceptions, of course. I don't think everyone's going to give the game a positive review. But EA is banking that those are few and far between.
Well, there's a higher probability. The people that gave it positive coverage during the preview event would have a probably higher probability of giving it positive preview coverage in the full review. This is a logical conclusion that any normal person would come to.
Attempt to keep the aggregate score of the game high. This has only happened one other time that I'm aware of in the some 10 odd years I've been doing this, and that is with Cyberpunk 2077, which followed a similar pattern where we were constantly reassured we were getting a code for years, but never got one.
Yeah.
And suddenly reviews were out and everyone was praising the game, giving it 9s and 10s, except one journalist who dared to give it an 8 and was ripped to shreds for it.
Ooh.
But then the fans got their hands on the game, and well, you know the rest. It wasn't what was promised, and we were forced to make one of the most disappointed videos I've ever made in my gaming career. However, in the case of CD Projekt Red, they own their shit, and the game is in a much better place now, though they lost trust by what happened with that game.
Do you remember whenever I played that game? That was crazy, huh? That was like 6 months ago. Maybe one day I'll play it again, right?
And in CD Projekt Red's case, they had already garnered quite a positive reputation, so they survived the backlash.
Fuck you.
However, neither BioWare or EA have shining reputations in the gaming industry, and many people think this is BioWare's last chance to prove...
As a Blizzard fan, every time I hear that, it's just really funny.
They still have it. This is the worst possible start to demonstrating whether or not that is true. So what does this mean for Effects for Life? Honestly, nothing has changed. I'm going to buy the game, I'm going to make our review, and I'm going to like the game or not based on the merit of the game, same as we've always done. I'm not going to let EA's bullshit influence our review or its score. We decided to make this video after some deliberation for you, the viewer, because we couldn't...
And to be fair, it is not confirmed that they were denied a review code because of the way that they reacted to the preview. It is not confirmed. But it can be inferred, and it seems odd that the people that did not give positive criticism and coverage all didn't get reviews. Seems very interesting.
Good conscience let this pass without saying something and let you be duped into thinking this title is one way when it in fact may be completely different. There are a lot of moving parts behind the scenes in the gaming industry that you will likely never know about, such as executives for publishers getting bonuses based on review scores, with higher score being bigger bonuses. Maybe you didn't know that. The tactic that
seems pretty stupid.
EA has taken with Dragon Age the Veilguard may prove to be successful,
yeah,
but should be entirely unnecessary if the game is in fact good. But it's not good for you, the consumer, and because they did this, you should not purchase the game based on initial reviews, but instead wait for players to get their hands on the game and tell you how things actually are. So that
true, but for every single game that's ever been made. Stop buying games based off of a review copy. I understand that a lot of people want to buy it on day one, and I can't tell you what to do with your money. I've pre-ordered many games, and I've bought many games on day one. However, the stop pre-ordering. Yeah, I get it. That's my job. However, I would absolutely not recommend anybody else to do it. I'm going to play it on day one. I've been very negative about my criticism of this game. I hope that I can give this game a fair shot. But I think that you should watch my criticism of the game, and you should view it through the lens of this is a guy that went into it thinking that the game is bad. So even when you're looking at my criticism, take that with a grain of salt as well. Because everybody is biased.
That there is a true consensus, not one that is manufactured by a large corporation who clearly doesn't care about its community or community members, but in fact only cares about the bottom line. And believe me when I say that I would much rather be publishing a Dragon Age the Veilguard review today rather than this video. This is not a video that I really wanted to make, but I thought it was very important to get this information out to you. And again, no disrespect to any content creators or press out there that are putting out their reviews today. This video is not aimed at attacking them in any way. It's simply aimed at informing you about what is going on with Dragon Age the Veilguard and why you might want to take these things into account when you're watching reviews today and tomorrow.
I think it's really important to keep this in mind. And this video is really, the really important thing about this is to understand and see past a lot of the noise that's been surrounding this video about how, I saw things on Twitter like where, this content creator like sourced Mark Kern, and so then they're wrong. That's not how things work. Like the person saying something does not make it right or wrong. The information is right or wrong. The fact is that every single person who has a channel of a certain size, I think, should be given the right to have a review copy. And the reason why is because that's what's best for you, the customer. Nothing else is good for you, the customer. Because if you don't like the way that, let's say, Vera Dark or Grums or F Extra Life reviews games, then you don't have to watch them. But to deny people the opportunity to have it be vetted by a person who they think represents their interests is pure and simple access journalism. And it's bad. It's bad for everybody involved. It's bad for content creators because they start lying. It's bad for viewers because they're being misled. And it's bad for companies because then they're being fed lies by reviewers because the reviewers don't want to give legitimate feedback on the game, which results in having games become worse. It is bad for everybody. So that's the way I see it. As a customer, I just wait and look up honest reviews. If you get scammed by pre-order stuff, you got. you did get got, and I understand that, but at the same time, I think that there should be a degree of accountability for the companies that are providing access journalism. It's impossible to say whether that happened in a certainty with this circumstance, but one thing that I can say is I never thought I would be supporting F Extra Life this much. Like, I've been extremely critical of the way that they did embeds on Twitch, massively critical. I totally shit on them. But with this circumstance, I think that they have every right to have a review copy, and it is unfair, and it's disturbing to me that they didn't receive a review copy, especially in the context of the way that they reviewed the pre-release stuff. That's the way I see it. Imagine, guys, world is in black and white. Yeah, sure, just 0 review copies and everyone, period. Oh, like not give anybody review copies? Yeah, I could see that. You want to do that? That's fine. That's totally fine. Absolutely. The companies want to maximize revenue. I understand that, but I think that us as consumers have to hold companies accountable for when the way that they decide to maximize revenue is through misleading customers and refusing to provide customers an adequate information about the product that they're consuming. That should not be seen as a positive thing. Yeah, that's a bad thing. Like you're it's like, oh, they want to maximize revenue, so they're not giving you the full thing that you paid for. They can't give something a 9 out of 10 while admitting it's going to kill the series. Who admitted that Dragon Age is going to kill the series? If we never get another Dragon Age, at least it got to go out on a high note with Dragon Age the Veilguard. That doesn't even make sense. Well, this game was really good. I guess we're going to stop making them. Well, I guess that's what they did with Bloodborne, but you know,